Okay. Oh, fuck's sake. I enabled that. Okay, so data's being sent to both YouTube and Restream. So let's just check Twitch. We'll see, we've got something coming. Yes, we've got something coming through to Twitch.
Excellent.
Audio check. Oh. Ah. Yeah, so that's Quarks. I'm on this.
We have sound.
Yep, and I'll go back to YouTube. Yes! We're going through to YouTube.
Woo!
Yes, live now.
Live.
Look, there's our ugly mugs as we speak.
Check that shit out.
Now, I'm going to turn the brightness down because I didn't actually plug this in. And I've got
Plugging things is for rich people. We're not plugged in.
an hour and 41 minutes apparently.
So the stream isn't plugged in either, so we're on time.
Oh, good.
That happened earlier on today. I was actually live streaming off this laptop, like playing a game. I was like, hang on a minute. Are we plugged in? I was like, looked up at the laptop. 9 minutes remaining. Well, your battery is running critically low. You have. And I was like, where's the power supply? It was in here. I was in the other room. So I look, you just hear the microphone just slam on the floor. I'm like, it just runs off.
Marvellous. Marvellous.
I'll be back in a minute as the microphone hits the floor.
Yeah.
And it was funny.
Please tell me you're playing some sort of online game. That was a critical moment while the enemy's about to rush the base or something. And you let the whole team down.
That would have been absolutely brilliant, but shamefully no. However, what made it worse...
Update, 1 hour 4 minutes remaining. We've lost 45 minutes in the last second.
Wow. Good job, laptop.
Good job, Dell.
Yeah, it was funny because Inky told me this morning, first thing she said to me when I woke her up this morning, remember to charge up all the batteries. Because yesterday, Inky and I went to Norwich City for the day.
Oh.
And well, because we haven't been out together for absolutely ages, and we had to get some stuff done. And so we go to the city.
Don't lie, it was to go see the football, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I confess. But we went to I took one of my cameras, so obviously I make a daily video. And as I got home, I looked at the back of the camera. I start to record to do like the closing bit of the video, and I have this. Me and Inky have this perfect moment, like the chemistry that says these two love each other was right there on camera, perfect. So as I then go to turn the camera around to turn it off, after I've just done my 15-minute, speech to camera, say how much I've had a lovely day, my wife and I had this great talk, the camera was off. Why was the camera off? I hit record, it was fine, the battery, it had loads of battery life. Fucking thing died after 1 second of recording. None of it was captured. We were just stood there going, talking to yourself.
Right, Inky, retake.
In the end, I was so angry with myself, and so that's when Inky said this morning.
Do you know how long we spent scripting this moment?
That's it. And that's why, when people say to me, oh yeah, mate, you're capturing the magic moments. I was like, no, mate, you can't capture magic moments. I'm pretty sure it's rigged. Like every time you're going to capture magic, your batteries are going to run out. Every single time. It's rigged.
Oh, I've gained 10 minutes now.
You've gained 10 minutes.
Yeah.
What have we stopped doing?
I've lost battery percentage, but gained 10 minutes.
But yeah, fine. You know what? For a laugh, because I'm a blind old man. How long have we got? Says it down here somewhere.
1 minute 17, 55%. So your battery's doing better than mine because I've got a similar sort of lifespan, and I'm showing 67%.
Oh, there we go. Sign it. We're good.
Right, so we're against the clock. That's fine. We can work this.
Race
through. Gated by TheSuffolkRam.
Skazz.
Welcome to episode 131. I looked up today to make sure of the Round Nerds podcast.
Oh, did I number the episode right? I hope I did, because I lost one somewhere.
You did? Yeah, I'm sure. I think. Well, yes, I think.
Ah.
It's all right because I set the title in iTunes.
Oh, fair enough.
I tell you, once iTunes, when they stop supporting iTunes and it's all gone, I'm going to have it's going to be nightmare editing the tags.
Like, oh my god, what was
iTunes is really useful for editing MP3 tags.
No, I agree. And then embedding the thumbnail.
Yeah,
as well,
I've never found a bit of stuff that actually is better than it. It's just iTunes is so good. I mean, Audition's terrible.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to think though, because iTunes is there, and you're going to be using it to listen to tunes anyway. If you still use iTunes for whatever to manage music, and a lot of people still do. So why not have tag editors built into your audio programs? In a lot of cases, you don't though. So why have the option to play a song and yet not give me the option to edit the tags?
Yeah.
iTunes has got that nailed down. I hate to say it, but iTunes was all right.
iTunes is a nice bit of software.
And converting, ripping CDs, converting files. It was pretty sound for
iTunes is a nice bit of software. Mm-hmm. It's a shame that they're stopping it. It's a nice bit of software.
Because they don't want people to tether to their really expensive computers anymore.
No, they want people to sign up for Apple Music and stream it all.
No.
It's not
I still can't get on with streaming music, to be honest with you.
I tend to listen to the same stuff fairly often, so it makes more sense for me to buy it.
No, I do the same thing.
I tend to not listen to a lot of music very often.
See, what I got into doing was because I lost my entire music collection years ago between moving houses and stuff. So I've got a funny feeling my CD and vinyl collection's in another place in another county. Don't ask. But I ended up signing up for Google Music for years. I actually had a subscription because they were giving it away for like £7. £7 wasn't that bad for, a music subscription. £10 when I can get Netflix for less. We've had this rant before. More effort to make a film than to record an album these days. A music subscription should not cost me between £10 and £15. It just shouldn't.
Well, you can blame that on the music lobby and the people who fight for the music lobby being overtly strict. If they had their way, you'd pay every single time you played a song.
Yeah. No, I imagine that would be their groove, but I don't pay for a subscription service. I tried Spotify recently. I hate Spotify. It's a horrible program. The site sucks ass. Their selection sucks. It's getting better, but still not worth the money. But Google Music, so I still buy CDs. I do. I still even occasionally pay for digital downloads if they'll give me something in a reasonable quality. So I like to use Bandcamp because Bandcamp will say, hey, do you want an MP3? Do you want a FLAC? Do you want OGG? Whatever, we'll do it because you have to upload audio in WAV to them, and then they will compress it to do whatever.
WAV's a good format.
And then, so you do that. So I don't mind buying digital tunes. Bungie do the Destiny soundtracks as a digital download in FLAC, MP3, or whatever you choose once you've bought it. And then what I do is I go to Google Music because Google Music allows me to upload, like 50,000 songs for free. They'll just put them on their cloud service thing, their server, and then I can just stream them from that. So I don't have to pay for any music outside of buying my CDs. I can rip my own CD, upload the FLAC version, and it'll convert it to 320 MP3. Anyway, that's what I do. Yeah. Because I mean, like I said, I don't listen to it. I do listen to a lot of music over and over and over again, but
depends what I'm doing. If I'm doing something that's like a noisy job, I just have a bit of music on in the background while I'm doing it. So like when I'm driving around doing the stock, I'm on a tractor, it's very noisy and so forth. Music's good because if it's noisy, you can't hear it. It doesn't really matter. You're not losing anything. Yeah. Whereas if you listen to an audiobook,
audiobook podcast, or
you're sort of pointless really. So I tend to use I tend to use audiobooks when I'm doing something that's quiet. So I love when I'm like painting miniatures. I'll have an audiobook playing.
Yeah, just have it like
usually a Warhammer audiobook because I'm playing War miniatures. War audiobook going. So I tend to have that or podcast or something similar. I tend to have that on more than just music. Because actually, I find I can only use music if I'm doing something quite involved. I want it as background. But if I'm just doing something simple that I can focus on something else, it's not good enough.
Sure.
But I can't watch a TV program because that would be too far the wrong way. So podcasts and audiobooks perfect for that.
I am curious how many. Clearly not many people are using iTunes anymore because Apple have decided they're going to bin off the program. But I mean, how many people outside of the Apple ecosystem actually use an audio player on their device of choice? You know, whether it be a laptop, your phone, whatever. What is it that people choose to use to listen to music or to store and organise their music?
Well, I think the player is still. They don't call it. They just call it music on the phone. Now they don't call it iTunes or anything like that. It's just called music.
Yeah.
Or you have a set music app and a set podcast app on the iPhone.
Okay.
And there's obviously. I think there's also a separate audiobook app, but I use Audible.
Yeah.
I put up a subscription a few months ago.
Yeah.
On your recommendation, and I use Audible for that. But there's a separate music. There's a separate podcast app and a music app. And then iTunes Store is there, but it's only the store. So it's all a bit this weird process. You go to the store to buy it, and then it turns up in your music app. Yeah. You don't play it through the iTunes Store. You have to play it through your music app. But
sure.
I'm not sure they have on the laptops anymore. But obviously, I still use it. I use the default software. I've never got quite. I've used other podcast software on when I had Android. I used other podcast software, and I just found that all were nowhere near as good as the actual Apple podcast software. At least this is going back a few years, admittedly, so they may have gone better since then. But all the ones I tried just either didn't load it properly, or they were a bit buggy. I mean, it's 3 years ago, so they've probably got a lot better since.
The worst one I find is not. I'm not picking on any particular program here, but when it comes to podcatchers and readers, is the worst part is generally the info tags. Yeah. You know, where people put in like their description or whatever into their thing. Most people just don't format that well, so depending on how the podcatcher is coded, that just turns into an absolute clusterfuck.
That's what I noticed most. Is one of the most common things I noticed as well. It just, you say, it couldn't format the show notes. So like us, when you download us on iTunes, us looks absolutely fine. On the phone, it looks absolutely fine. But if you look at these all the stuff I was trying to test on, I will again say this about 2-3 years ago probably. I was using this. I found you used to put raw code in there. You'd have the raw like HTML code in there appearing up. The music files, it wouldn't go by the tag name, it would go by the file name. Yeah. It was all little stuff. I tried about 4 or 5 different ones, and these were meant to be the best ones. I looked sort of a little bit of research on what did everybody use, and they were just like, these are just like so inferior. It's like sort of comparing like a 1930s Fiat something to like a modern day. Yeah, I get it. It felt so primitive.
I mean, I still use Pocket Casts when I do listen to podcasts on the go. Or when I listen to them on my phone or even on my laptop, because Pocket Casts, well, it's cloud-based, isn't it? I keep saying cloud. I hate saying cloud-based, but it's on their side. Yeah. So I log in, and it keeps on their servers. They have a list of all of the things that I listen to, where I am in this whatever episode, where I last played it, kind of like how Audible does it, and all that kind of stuff. So then, if I fancy, I can then stop listening to it on my phone, bring it up on my laptop. I could go to another computer somewhere else, log into my account, and there it all is. But even that has limitations.
Yeah.
But as long as I can get access to the file, I'm not really particularly bothered, to be honest.
I suppose, to be fair, as Apple, the ones who define the format, as it were, they should be perfect.
Well, I'd hope so, yeah.
Yeah, if they define the format, they know exactly how it works. But it's only an RSS feed. It's only an XML document at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I've seen people hand code RSS feeds, and even those have been absolute clusterfucks. Universally. There's a podcast I like to listen to called the Level 1 Podcast, and the feed on their website is crap. It's just absolutely crap. And I know that these guys know what they're doing. Yeah. They're very good at what they do, but this feed is just bollocks, if it works at all. Patreon feed, however, works great. But the one on the website, not great at all. Not great at all.
Well, there you go.
A functional feed, well worth $1.
Yeah. There you go. Give them the money, and they make it work.
Yeah,
that's nice of them.
But
Well, anyway, I hope you've.
Sorry about that.
Hope you've enjoyed our discussion on various podcast listening software. Yeah. So games been playing. So I've been playing over the course of the last few weeks, off and on, and spare moments of actual time to do things for myself rather than.
You never have spare time. Don't lie to me.
I do have spare time occasionally.
I think you might have a shred more than I do, and that's none.
I get like at least an hour every month.
I was going to say I'm in debt time-wise until like 2023 at this point.
So Skazz was very kind to give me a invite key to Stadia, because he mentioned that Borderlands 3 was on Stadia, which I've been thinking of getting Borderlands 3, but then he mentioned, I got an invite key. He very kindly offered me this invite key, and I loaded it up, and I've been playing Borderlands 3 on Stadia.
Aha! Through the browser.
Through the browser. And it was all the problems I've had with it have been at my end when I've had connection drops.
Yep.
Other than that, though, it's been I've been amazed, because Borderlands is a very fast-paced shooter.
Yep.
And, it does rely on you sort of good aiming, timing, all that sort of stuff. It's something that you don't want too much input lag on. But it's been absolutely flawless. I haven't noticed any input lag.
And you've been playing on the browser as well.
Yeah, through the browser. I've been very impressed with it. Absolutely, to the point where I forget that I'm playing a software that's not. I mean, I had one issue where I tried to quit. I did have one issue where I tried to quit, and it's hung up and froze.
Sure.
And my immediate solution was to do Control-Delete to try and kill the exe. You can't really do that with a stream.
Yeah,
but it's actually better, because if it crashes, you just close the browser window.
Yeah.
So you don't actually crash your whole PC.
That's it.
So it's actually better in many ways. I've been absolutely thoroughly impressed. I don't know what the general consensus is now about Stadia, because I know there's a lot of negativity when it first came out.
People are still crapping over it.
Yeah, but honestly, I mean, I will admit, I've got a decent internet connection. I think if you've got a shit internet connection, I could see why you'd have a lot of trouble with it.
Well, what I think the problem is, it's not so much having a decent internet connection. I think it's really just the distance from you to the server. Because a lot of the people who are complaining they're Americans, and some of them have got crazy good internet connections, but they are so far away from the server. Yeah. There are so many different nodes that they're having to hop through before they get to the server. There's got to be something going on somewhere to cause them so many problems.
The internet in America is not quite so. From what I hear and see, it seems to be a lot more throttled in some cases. Even though you may have a fast speed, internet companies don't really like it when you're using high bandwidth stuff. I think you could definitely say Stadia is quite high bandwidth.
For sure. Do you still have it running? Because I think by default it runs at balanced, so it scales. If it's able to run at 4K, it will run at 4K.
I have not changed a single setting.
So you're likely on
but
balanced.
my monitor is a 4K monitor, it's ultra wide. That is one thing I've noticed. It only supports widescreen resolutions.
16:9, yeah.
So ultra wide monitor, I have black borders around it.
Sure.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping at some point they will bring in. Obviously, the games will support it, but I'd hope they bring in ultra wide support.
That would be nice.
It would be nice to make it sort of thing. It does feel weird because the first thing you do in a game is change the key configs to my standard layout, because muscle memory's a bitch. And then go into the graphics settings. Well, on Google Stadia, you go around and see there's basically nothing in there.
You've got, there is an option menu, but there's the exit button.
Yeah, it's like graphics settings back.
Hang on a minute. What? Yeah.
Where do I change my anti-aliasing?
Like, go on, off you go.
How do I turn off bloom? Actually, I think you can turn off things like bloom and stuff, but it's very limited. But
yeah,
I think you can adjust the field of view as well. Actually, think about it. There's an option to adjust field of view on Borderlands. But yeah, so Stadia-wise, very impressed. I can't fault it really.
Cool. Have you tried the control pad yet?
I have not tried the control pad.
Oh man,
I've got it set. It's still in cellophane.
Oh man,
I need to get that set it up. I want to. I keep meaning to try it on this.
Yeah.
Just take it in my room online and just set it up. But I say I've honestly been against the wall the last couple of weeks. I've only played probably about 12 hours of Borderlands since, and I got a new game of the key before Christmas. Yeah. So that gives you an idea of actually how much time I've had to do shit basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all been PC. I did just play a bit of Destiny 2.
I saw your screenshot carrying your team.
Yeah. I was like, it was amusing because I don't tend to be a good player. I'm not. I've only played this like the first time I played it, and I used the opening mission, and then I went to the first mission. I think it's called the Gun Runner, something like that. It was like the first one I went into, and it just randomly paired with these two other random people.
So I'll put you into a strike.
Strike, yeah. Two of random people, and we're going round, and these people were shit. They really were awful. They were just like they were just like missing everything. I'm just sitting there taking it out. I thought, is this cross-play? But then it can't be because they've got numbers above their head. Are these guys using the control pad? Because I can't understand why they're missing so much. And then they started to follow me about. I was like, do these guys think I know what I'm doing? Because they just see me killing everything and think, this guy's clearly the pro here.
He's got his shit down.
So I'm wandering around looking for the next part, because it is quite. I was getting quite lost in this map, to be honest. I was like, where the fuck do we go? I actually wanted to wait. There's a waypoint, but it's like somewhere over there. And it could be behind a wall. It could be you have to walk the wrong way.
Yeah, the trick with them, it's not so much there's much of a problem in Destiny 2, but in Destiny 1, I mean, maps, there was just, so let's say, for example, a map took place in on the moon, right? The moon is just a map, but missions have different starting points on the map. So a mission will take place in this specific area of the map. And so you'd often find yourself like, oh, I'm running through here. Oh, crap, I've got to go all the way over there now.
Yeah.
Or all the way over there now. It was really easy to kind of get lost, or sometimes you'd go through a mission and go, oh, hey, I recognise that bit. You know, that was a bit I've done before.
Yeah. Well, I was reviving them, and they kept dying. I kept bringing them back to life. I did die once, and one of them did eventually revive me.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guy. No, actually, tell her that's not true. I died, had to respawn. I was like, come on, guys. I keep reviving you.
And they're like, no, you're too good. Let us get killed now.
Yeah. And it was really sort of really frustrating. Yeah, so they were following me about like I knew what I was doing. Eventually, we got away through. I did have one bit where there's like a lift that went up to the top sort of like arena. And me and this other chap missed the lift. Oops. And we're just seeing our teammate just disappearing.
Just watching him go up, yeah. I know the one you're doing.
And then the sort of like dialogue comes through, and also it's like he's having a very interesting probably experience up there, watching everything happen, and we're just stuck down here. Yeah, it does eventually teleport you up to meet.
Yeah, you're supposed to be doing something for Hawthorne, I think. That's one of the missions on Earth, isn't it?
Yes,
I believe.
Yeah, I think.
Because you had to go through a room,
I think it tells
room wide up with bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
Before you got to the lift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a bit where you have to like push use a console, hack a console to open the door, and I was up, and these other two players up to this bit. They also look at it. They didn't say it's always been told hack the console. It's little jokes to hack the console. They think to hack the console you have to shoot it. It was quite. I just sort of watched. I'm like, why are they just shooting the console? You don't. Have they not seen a single film how you hack things? So I just walked up to just hit the use key.
So there you go, job done.
Yeah, and done. And I just want to think, this would just like look at me and go, oh. So yeah.
I've never thought about hacking my laptop, or I need to unlock my laptop. Hang on, where's my pistol?
I was just shooting. Like, why are you shooting it for? Who have I been teamed up with? I mean, I'm a new. Who are these people?
You gotta think they sound worse than me, and I'm pretty crazy when it comes to playing that game.
And then we kill the end boss, and he drops all this loot, and they just piss off and forget about it. So I don't know how it works. Whether like it's like a free for all, or whether you get.
No, I think you get your own individual drops.
Yeah. So I just sort of thought, well, fine, I'll take it all then. Off you go. Bye.
There you go. But, I need to hop in at some point to show you where the actual base game story missions are.
Yes.
So like Red War and Curse of Osiris and Warmind and that, because we're currently going through the original story with Chalky. On Xbox, because we've now got cross save enabled, so I can now, if I feel like I can now hop into Stadia, I can hop onto Xbox, I can hop onto PlayStation. Although Stadia is a better deal right now, because if I want to get all the content for the Xbox, it's an extra £40.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Get it all on Stadia.
Can you guess which class I'm playing as?
Oh god, are you playing? You'd be a hunter, I guess.
Yeah. The range class.
Yeah, Inky's playing as a hunter. Inky plays hunter, Chalky plays warlock, and I play titan.
Yeah. If ever there's a game out there and I'm playing it, if there's some sort of long range class, guaranteed, as odds are going to be me.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that sort of sometimes overrules that is that if there's a pet class.
Yeah, none of that in Destiny 2.
No, there isn't. But if there's a game of pet class, that usually sometimes I fight. Particularly if it's got a cool looking pet, I might take that class. But often you have a ranger class that has a pet and long range.
There you go. The head of your guild, I suppose, is actually quite a funny character as well. You know the guy from Firefly and Serenity? The captain.
Oh, which one? Because they're also characters.
The main guy from Serenity.
Oh,
guy in a trench coat.
Yeah, Captain Malcolm. He was also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He played this really evil guy who took out someone's eye. Nathan Fillion?
Yeah, him. He's the head of the of the hunters. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Exactly the same character. I'm
some robot dude.
Yeah. So is he.
Oh, cool.
So
see, robot dudes.
Neat character. He's the character's name's Cade 6.
Yeah.
So
I'm not sure how robot dudes fit into the world of Destiny, but I'm a robot dude. So.
Turns out they are humans. They were humans once.
All right.
Something that I only just realised in Destiny 2.
Oh.
So there you
go. Yeah, I'm a human robot.
There you go. Human robot.
Basically, we're playing Soma.
Yeah.
So anyway, Borderlands 3. That's so Borderlands 3. It's basically Diablo in a first-person shooter. So it's fast, but it's fast-paced. You get loads of things thrown at you. It's sort of big sort of uniquenesses to it. Sort of unique things about it is all the weapons are randomised, as in all their properties are completely randomised. So they say it's got something stupid like a gazillion, billion, sejillion guns in it because all the possible combinations. So you can put a gun that I've got a gun at the moment. That's my pistol, and to reload it, I hit the reload button, and my character throws it, and then it explodes. And that's the reload command.
There you go. Best way.
But it's best because it bounces. It's got like an onboard AI, and it goes every time it hits the ground. It goes ow, ow, ow. Then it explodes into 4 littler grenades that all go ow, 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 and they all go bang. Marvelous.
Good times.
You've got the weapons generally tend to have sort of themes. So they're different manufacturers. They all tend to be sort of themed. So like Atlas is quite sort of high tech. There's Jacobs, which is like all their stuff is like made out of old fashioned like wood. So they're really traditional weapons. There tends to be sort of like more powerful, but sort of slower firing.
A wooden 6-shooter.
yeah, I'm sure it exists in there somewhere. You do get random things like, this weapon fires 4 bullets at once. Okay,
why not?
This weapon. Some weapons have now got dual modes. You can switch between modes. So, like, I had a sniper rifle that fired a single shot, flame damage, or I could switch it to double shot electrical damage. But they also affected the zoom levels as well. So the single shot was like a 3 times zoom, but the 5 shot was like an 8 times. Because it's all randomised as well. The downside to that is it means that 99% of stuff you find is going to be shit.
Yeah.
Because you'll look at it and go, what I've got's better. And you can't carry that much in your backpack. You can only have 16 slots, which isn't a lot. Given that like any sort of big enemy will drop at least a gun.
Yeah.
And some place you might have got 4 or 5 of them. So all dropping guns. Small enemies will also occasionally drop things as well. So you'll find pretty quickly you'll be filling up your backpack and you'll be trawling back and forth, and then you'll go through the phase of now I need to go look. And it's got built features like you've got a comparing feature. You can easily compare one weapon to another. They've also introduced an item scoring system, which basically gives every weapon like a score based on how good the computer algorithm thinks it should be. I find that pretty unreliable because I look at a gun that it says is a lot better by the score, but I looked at it and I think it heavily weighs damage
in
its scoring system. I'm not sure how it actually works, but it heavily seems to weigh damage because you have like 2 assault rifles. One does slightly less damage, but it's got like a 40 round magazine. One does a lot more damage or a bit more damage, but it's got like a 10 shot magazine.
Yeah.
I'd rather have for assault rifle, I'd rather have the higher magazine and the slightly lower damage, because in damage per second it'd probably be more.
Yeah, that's what they do on Destiny. That's my choice as well. The higher capacity mag versus lower in damage, because my assault rifle right now isn't the best, but massive magazine and the rate of fire is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So as soon as I pull the trigger, you're dead.
Yeah. And for an assault rifle, that's what you want. Mm-hmm. For a sniper rifle, I'm not so worried about capacity. I'd rather have more damage. Yeah. So I tend to favour damage, I think. So, I mean, it's quite good. Like, if you walk up to a weapon, it actually, in the screen, before you even pick it up, you actually get a little card appear, like, sort of zooms out the weapon to show you its stats. Mm-hmm. And it actually shows you, quite simply, if a stat is better, it just for what you're carrying at that moment in time, it'll show green. If it's not, it'll show red. And if it's the same, it'll show grey. So you can visually glance, oh, this is better, in whatever ways. You can visually glance at quite quickly. Yeah. And you can then just put a button and instantly switch there and then. It'll instantly, you can have it pick up and immediately equip it, or just pick it up. Mm-hmm. Which is handy. I don't often use that, because to be honest, I'd rather pick up everything than sit down and go through the menu. I mean, by default, you start off with just 2 weapon slots that you can equip. Mm-hmm. It does unlock to 4. I've unlocked the 3rd weapon slot now, which I think's when you get to the next planet, you unlock the 3rd weapon slot. So what I started with, I normally used to carry a sort of like a pistol, and then like some sort of rapid fire weapon, then I'd manually switch out to a sniper rifle and so forth. One neat thing it has got is you can, when you pick up a weapon, you can mark it, you can like tag it, and you can tag it as either favourite or as trash.
Okay.
So trash ones go red, which means when you go to a vendor, you can instantly seal the trash ones. If you mark as a favourite, it won't let you sell it at a vendor. Okay. So you can't. So if you don't want to sell, because you'll go eventually want to click for your list.
You can't accidentally sell.
Yeah, you can't do it. So if you mark all ones you want, so I tend to go and mark everything, all my equipped ones as favourites. I'll go through and I'll look and compare them. Okay, if this is better, I'll mark it as a favourite so I don't accidentally sell it. So I have like in reserve like a shotgun and a sniper rifle for like certain things. You also get things like grenade mods. So you have, so for example, you can have like I like what we call the long shot mod. And what this does, the grenade mods directly, so you have grenades, but have no base stats really. It's the mod that does all the damage. Mm-hmm. So I've got what I call long shots. So long shot ones, basically they teleport to their destination. You don't throw them, they teleport. So effectively, they're a sniper rifle grenade. Right. Wherever you're pointing your reticle when you throw a grenade, that's where the grenade's going to go.
Right.
So you can actually really, if you remember that, because there's a little delay while you throw it, so you have to make sure you can't like sort of tap it and then throw it, and you have to wait for the animation to throw it. So you have to think a little bit, but you can use it like aim behind a bit of cover and it'll just teleport there and explode behind people.
Sure.
So that's quite neat. There's also versions that when your grenade hits, it basically you've got like standard blast one, you've got one where it'll explode to lots of smaller grenades and spread all over. You've got ones that sort of like bounce up in the air and explode. Lots of variations. So that's your grenade mod. So grenades can be modded. Again, it's all randomised. Sometimes you get things like grenade where if it explodes, it'll give you extra. It'll make the enemies drop more money.
Sure.
As grenades can do, as we know this in reality.
Yeah.
The next thing you've got shield mods. So you have health and you have a shield. Your health generally isn't that great. But what you supplement is with a shield. So your shield, again, is basically an extra health bar. That gets worn down. And shields have a maximum capacity. They have a recharge rate, how fast they charge back up, and how long it takes. And your shield, basically, it's a pretty standard facing in a lot of games with shields. You have to get in cover and hide. And only if you don't get hit will the timer starts, and then it starts recharging. So you have a recharge rate. So you might decide it's better to have a shield that may not have high capacity, but it's got a quicker recharge speed. I tend to go for high capacity because I think I can usually always find somewhere in cover. Mm-hmm. So just delay it, but it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
You also get class mods. So class mods directly affect basically they effectively boost your skills. So you have skills in it. And I would say it's actually quite a game where it's actually a very slow progression. You only get one skill point when you level up, mm-hmm. and there are probably a good 200 points you could potentially spend. So it's quite a slow. I mean, at least what I estimated just glancing through. I haven't actually added it up. It might be a lot less than that. I just guesstimated that. And usually you have like 3 trees, as it were, and interesting skills. Your skills don't seem to have, from what I could see, don't have like prerequisites. So in some games where you can't have this skill until you've unlocked this skill. How theirs works is these skills are locked off until you've spent 5 points in the lower tier skills in any combination. Once you've spent those 5 points, then the next tier highlights, and then the next tier is 10 points, the next tier is 15. Yeah. So it's tiered that way. So it's not, you don't have to buy, you're not fixed to buy a specific skill, but you are fixed to buy a specific skill tree if you want to get things. And as you upgrade them, you also unlock abilities. I've got a player character as a pet. I'm playing a guy called Flack who's got a pet. I've got a pet Skazz called Mr. Chew. As I upgrade, I can actually special abilities that interact with him, so I can basically equip him with skills as well. You pick you can also equip like a action skill. My one basically lets me turn invisible, and when I'm invisible, I can fire 3 shots. I think they do critical damage guaranteed, or is it like just fire 3 shots with merge? I think you fire 3 shots and then you reappear, or the time runs out, whichever happens first. So that means you can like make yourself visible, go up to people, take a second to aim, and really get the drop on them. Yeah. You also get skills like this one skill I have, which I sort of like open up a portal and teleport my pet through it. Right. And so you can like sort of aim and just teleport his pet right next to him. And I think it's an upgrade to it where basically you add radiation, so when your pet teleports, it mutates and grows like 4 times its size and just starts to feel. Yeah, it's got quite a lot of sort of ways to build your character and so forth. Neat. It's very much based on the humorous end, although I've noticed it's got a lot more serious as the games have progressed. The first game did rely a lot on memes for its humour. So it's very much of its time. If you play it now, it really feels dated because a lot of the memes and stuff, I'm sure there was probably some joke about taking an arrow to the knee or something in there. Very heavily based on memes at the time. Yeah. But also it's all moved away a little bit. This has moved away quite a lot from that. It's still very above all the time because you see it's all taking the mick out of other sort of modern day groups. So this one's sort of taking the mick out of live streamers. Right. So your 2 main enemies in the game, who are basically sort of like unite all the bandits against you. They like to they actually live stream when they're doing their killings. At the end, they ask you to like and subscribe and their streams.
That's pretty rad.
I think one of them actually says now hit that like button and make sure. And no, one of them actually I think says smash that like button. I think at one point. Yeah, but it's a little piss take of that sort of thing. And they have they do like sort of there's a bit where one of your main characters gets severely beaten up. And then they do an edited version of it, and it's like this really cheesy edited like YouTube with like sort of comedy music tied to it of your character getting beaten up. The other thing that sort of at the time sort of differentiated at the time was Borderlands 2. It was semi I don't remember Revolution when it was first being developed. It was out the same storyline, set on this planet called Pandora. The idea was this planet was when they start before the game began was basically in a orbit that means it spent most of its time in ice, and it's full of minerals. All the big corporations went there and started extracting the minerals. People moved there and lived there, and everybody was basically miners and so forth. Pretty quickly, though, they managed to pretty much strip it dry, and then the planet moved into its summertime. When it did, all the basically creatures that lived there came off hibernation, and they were nasty. So all big corporations basically said, "Fuck this, we're leaving." Yeah. And basically the option of if you can afford to leave, you can come. Otherwise, we're leaving you behind. And so everybody is basically just been left behind on Pandora. This one, you actually get to go to other planets. They've actually updated it, so you can go to other planets. So that's the sort of the base storyline. But when it was first being done, it was quite sort of grey, quite serious, so forth. At some point, they decided, actually, no, this looks wrong. Let's redo the entire art style and turn it to comic book style. So every sort of pitch scene looks like it's out of a comic book. It's all, I forgot the name, cell shaded. That's it. cell shading, all that sort of stuff. All the characters have got sort of very comic book styling and so forth. It's designed to look that sort of style, which made it very different at the time and jumped out a little bit.
I will be honest, it was the cell shading at the time that put me off playing it initially.
Yeah,
because I've just had a beef for years against cell shading. It's only recently that I was like, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, it's designed to look like a graphic novel.
Yeah,
and if you pause, it does look like a graphic novel, and it's got. I mean, it does feel like a sort of quite an old school RPG. So, when you hit people, it shows you the damage you've done, and it says critical above them as you hit them. So, which is neat because you can see if you're doing like really damage. Oh, I've just killed him with 200 points damage. It's quite neat. But I've really enjoyed it. Fun. It's a really fun, enjoyable game. It's got lots of it's every area you go to now. There's like each planet split into sort of like sub areas. Each area will have a percentage completion. That's nothing unusual. And they'll be like, okay, there's like towers to take out, which broadcast centers. Then you need to like broadcast your own messages. You've got this guy called Claptrap who saw like the mascot of the series, and Claptraps are these little robots that have like a single wheel and they sort of run around, and they are slightly doolally. They sort of I'm not quite sure how it's right. They're definitely not sensible. They are just mad. They are a combination of intelligent but incredibly stupid at the same time. So their sort of idea of overriding something is just to hit it really hard and that sort of thing. There, and there's only one Claptrap left now. After they decide to form a revolution and try and overtake over Pandora, which is actually one of the DLCs first. And everybody rebelled and basically killed them all off. There's only one Claptrap left, and this Claptrap basically he calls you minion. He calls you his minion because he thinks he's in charge of the friendly groups with the Crimson Raiders, and he thinks he's in charge, but he's not. And whenever he tells stories to people, he always rephrases it so that it was like his idea. So there's a bit where like the second game where this lady Liv, they had a city that's been attacked. She just teleported. She had to use her powers to basically teleport. She's a Scion, it's like the magic class. She was able to teleport the whole city. And in his retelling, he told her to do that. Yeah, and he retells it all like he was the best guy and he defeated everybody and all sorts. A lot of the characters are sort of comedy sort of characters, and there's something around for like. I mean, it's interesting actually because main characters do die. Sometimes you find these games tend to keep around. They're not too well at killing main characters off. And a lot of the characters, I said, they're sort of like really gross exaggerations. The lady who looks after your vehicles. I'm not sure how she walks. She's incredibly obese, and she's like sort of like. You have to see a picture of her. She's just massive. How she walks, I don't know, but she does all your vehicles, repairs all your vehicles. There's one guy who's like sort of the gunsmith who like sort of sells you guns. He's like a sleazy businessman. Who's like he's not happy. He's like, oh, I sell guns to everybody, bandits, whoever. I don't care. This is like a slightly doolally. Everybody's all slightly mad because they've all the people got left behind this planet. There's like this scientist who like studies. So I've probably not mentioned the underlying story, have I? The underlying story is there was rumoured in Borderlands. There's rumored that on these planets there's these things called vaults which contain lots of wonders and like money. If you found it, you'd be really rich. So these people called vault hunters, which is what you play in all the games, are looking for these vaults. And in the first game, you find the vault, you open up, and the Destroyer of Worlds comes out.
Marvellous.
And you just go, actually, the aliens were keeping who sealed the vaults for good reason. And now lots of these vaults are located. Once people realise these things were real, everybody's looking for them. So originally, the big question is thought, nah, they're not real, and just abandoned it and left it. As soon as everybody found out that there was a vault, and one of your guys found it, all of a sudden everybody came back. Yeah. Because now it's worth fortune, so everybody's come looking for these vaults. They just, I honestly really enjoy them. I would say some of the voice acting is pretty good. There is some that's not quite so good. So I've gone to the next planet, which is a planet called Atlas, and there's a character there. I don't know who's playing her, but some British woman's playing her, and her voice acting is just not very good. There's not. She doesn't. You get the feeling she's not done voice acting before because it's not quite. Voice acting is really hard.
Yeah.
Actually, it's when you hear a good voice actor compared to a non-good voice actor, you realise the difference is night and day. I actually think voice acting is probably harder than physical acting because it's all your emotions got to be portrayed by your voice.
Yeah.
And you can just
even when you think you're pushing all of your feeling, all of your emotion through. I mean, because you're used to talking, right? You know, me and you talking, people should be able to tell that, oh, hey, man, you know, Ram really enjoys this game. You can hear it by the way he speaks, the way that his, the way it's put forward. When you're reading a script from someone else, very often you don't actually push any of that through. You feel like you are, you think you are, but then when someone else hears it, like, wow, that's really stale.
I know
it's not like having a regular conversation.
I tell you what you notice it in audiobooks. The narrator of audio makes such a difference.
Yeah.
Some are really good. Someone I to the guy who does it. He's really good. He's really on top of it. He's very good doing other voices, and you can show his other voices because it sounds like they sound like got someone in to do the voice.
Yeah.
And then you'll get ones who basically their sort of vocal range is like about 4 or 5 different voices and slight variations on them.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to get to the voice actor. So I'm not supposed to be that one because it's not easy, but she isn't very good. Sure. It's just there's no real emotion to it. And Borderlands is a very cheesy game. It revels in its cheesiness. Every character there is such a big hammering up. They make William Shatner look proud. How much they're hammering it up. We've got 33 minutes remaining, so we better make a move. They make William Shatner proud how much they're hammering it up because it's so cheesy, but it's fun.
Sure.
It's just a fun, enjoyable, and it's got built-in multiplayer. You can just
it's drop in, drop out, isn't it?
Yeah, drop in, drop out. Although I'm not sure about previous games, but I think the new one that basically it's sort of like levels of the quest based on who's in your team.
Okay.
In the previous games, it was a bit weird because one person hosted, but the game was leveled based on their level.
Sure.
So if I was like level 10 and then you joined my game, all the enemies you encounter would be based on my level, not yours.
Yeah.
But if we then split apart, you want to play a single player game by yourself, it was stuck with my level.
Sure.
So you go into it and you'd be facing level 10 enemies.
Wow.
I think it was very sort of hit and miss.
Sure.
But I think they've improved that a lot in the new one. I'll be honest, I've never tried the multiplayer aspect of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
To see how well it works. I've never tried. But
Yeah,
cool game. I'll definitely give it a recommendation. It got a bit of hate because it became an Epic Store exclusive.
Yeah, well, it got hate because was it not advertised on Steam and then got pulled from Steam last minute?
Was it one of the ones? It may have been.
Something to that effect.
A few games that happened too. It did. I know that people review bombed. Actually, it might have been because people review bombed Borderlands 2,
which is a stupid thing to do.
Very stupid thing to do because you know why. It's a good game. Why are you shitting on it? You know, it's not its fault, and they've made their money from Borderlands 2.
I was going to say shit on Borderlands 3 when Borderlands 3 hit Steam and say this is what you get for putting it on. But even
the
then,
game's fine. The game is fine. I mean, it's still got the craziness. You know, I think one of the guys got a turret that actually, if it's on, you throw it down, and then if it gets a bit low, it gets up and walks on its 3 legs, chases enemies, and shouts insults at them. What more could you possibly want?
There you go.
So
game of the year.
Game of the year. Yes, that's Borderlands 3.
Marvellous.
So Skazz. I am. Thank you, Skazz.
I've had a bit of a hit and miss time at the moment. I've been playing, mostly games that I've already spoken about on the podcast. I mean, we recently got back into Destiny 2. Inky and I found out that we didn't have all the DLC for it, so we're going to, have to spend a lot of money to get the rest of the DLC to keep playing that. Still thoroughly enjoying Destiny 2. Still thoroughly enjoying cross-play, jumping between platforms to keep up with my friends on the different platforms. I still think Stadia is the best one though, just because of the fucking loading times, hands down. Just play on Stadia. If you've got anything to do, item management or whatever, just go load it up on Stadia. It's faster. It's faster to load it up on Stadia than it is to fire up your console and go through and do all that. Still having a great time. Tried Dragonquest XI, but I've bounced off that one pretty hard recently. It's fun. I'll have to go into it at some point, so you're going to have to remind me when I get back to it. But for now, I'm bouncing off it.
Wasn't Dragonquest the one that? I mean, was the one that like the original one was was on Laserdisc and it was like an interactive movie type.
Oh no, you're thinking of Dragon's Lair.
That's it. Yeah.
Dragon's Lair by Don Bluth. Dragon Quest was one of the first big JRPGs. And it was said that in Japan at the time, when every iteration came out, there would be shite tons of people that would just skip going to work. It was one of the few things that would cause people in Japan to literally, oh look, new Dragon Quest game's coming out. Well, we're not going to be working today, so sorry, let's just go down to the GameStop and let's go down to the local game shop and
Japan. I mean, these are people who work themselves to death.
Yeah, exactly. So Dragon Quest had the power to save lives.
Does it get respect for it? I bet it does not.
No, but no. So it's really fun series. In fairness, actually, Dragon Quest gets shat on a lot in recent remakes. Rather than actually giving the game some proper polish and respect, being one of the grandfathers of JRPGs, the recent re-releases on Switch were just the Android games, and they looked crap. They could have used the Super Nintendo versions, but they just put the Android versions on. They were crap. However, it does open the door. The Android versions have all the way up to Dragon Quest VIII, which is a PlayStation 2 game. So in theory, we could have Dragon Quest 1 through 8 on Nintendo Switch at some point. But anyway, bounced off Dragon Quest XI. It's funny though, because we're calling it the most British of RPGs, because all of the main characters that have dialogue have derpy British accents. They sound like they're from Norfolk or somewhere like that. It's really.
I can't imagine a Norfolk.
It's really derpy. We've got farmers. We've got people trying to be really posh.
I'm going to cast my spell at him.
That's it. One of the main characters right at the start, and I was like, "God blimey,
God blimey, governor."
That's it. Like the minute
Mary Poppins.
That's the first thing me and Inky were like when we started hearing him speak. It was like, Inky, I think I might turn this to Japanese. It was really creeping me out, but I'm going to get back to that. I've had this thing where I've been trying to play games that I don't need to really think too much. So I then jumped into a demake of a game that I just recently finished. I have been playing Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD. Final Fantasy 15,
put in the pocket, and upgraded.
So here's the trick. A demake is basically when you take a game of a certain style and you downgrade it to a previous generation style game. So imagine you've got a PlayStation 4 game, and then all of a sudden you kind of make all the characters look really kind of Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 8-esque. You've got this really beautiful world, and then you just kind of crunch it down nice and small. But to make it work on 2 generation older hardware. They did that with Final Fantasy 15. They took beautiful world, beautiful character designs, beautiful music, fully voiced game for the most part, squished it down, made it look like it was a PlayStation 2 game or PlayStation 3 game so that you could play it on mobile phones. And then they're like, let's now put this back on the console the original came out on. And so the demake got an HD remake and got put on the consoles, which in fairness is the only version that you can get on Nintendo Switch, because the Switch isn't powerful enough to play Final Fantasy 15, even though you can play stuff all the way up to Final Fantasy 12 on, which is a PlayStation 2 game, but it's the only game you can get on Nintendo Switch, Final Fantasy 15 wise, and it's actually quite good, because you got to think they've got all of the dialogue, all of the scenes have already been mapped out for them. It's just literally a case of getting these little sprite guys, or these little kind of really chibi, derpy, doll-like characters to walk around in the same-ish scenes as what were in 15. Because all the dialogue is already recorded, all the music's already there, so they don't have to get people in to do extra stuff. You just have to literally reanimate it in this new style. It works really well. They've reworked the magic system. They've kind of reworked the combat system. You can tell it's very mobile phone oriented because of how simplified interfaces and things are. It was open world on all the other versions pretty much. You could drive wherever you wanted to go. You could move between quests and all that. Now it's a top-down ISO style game where you move from one zone to the next with loading screens in between, like a fade to black. You walk from one room to the next, and it'll fade to black, and then you'll have this new room on the screen rather than actually being able to seamlessly move between zones. And each zone might have a quest assigned to it. So when you hit the main quest, which is like a red exclamation mark, I'll say, hang on, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's potential to do another quest in this area. Do you really want to move on? Because if you do, you're not going to be able to do the side quest, because obviously you don't have the free roam to move to and from like you do in the main game. But it's fun. All the story's there for the most part. Even seems like there's some extra dialogue, like maybe some bits that I missed in the main game have now been shoved in my face in the demake. But it's really fun. I can imagine just being able, how fun it would be just to be able to carry Final Fantasy 15, the full story, in my pocket. It's not as pretty, it doesn't play as well, but you're still going to be able to absorb that story. And a demake is actually that was kind of a clever way to do it. I can't really say a huge amount about it outside, because I've already spoken about Final Fantasy 15. Just maybe give it a go.
Okay.
Because originally I was like, it's a demake, it's a bit stupid. And then I tried it. I was like, actually, that's quick. The game is considerably shorter in the form of a demake because you can't go backwards and forwards, so it's a lot more kind of compressed into a smaller area.
So have they had to rework on the quests to make that work? Or are the quests always self-contained? If there's the quests that involved you going to one area and then have to go back to an area.
A lot of the quests aren't there anymore. So, as an example, in one of them, or a lot of the mini games aren't there anymore. Like now, Noctis doesn't go fishing and Prompto doesn't constantly take photographs. There was one mini quest in Final Fantasy 15, the full game, where you have to feed a cat, and to feed the cat, you have to go fishing. So you go fishing off one of the docks, you go back, you feed the cat, job done. That's just not there anymore. In 15, as you kill enemies, you can get meat and other ingredients from from where you go, where you travel, what you kill, and one of the characters, Ignis, will go, hey, I thought of a way of a recipe, something that I can make with all this stuff. Now those are kind of like quests. You break open boxes, Ignis finds a thing that's like, oh hey, I've got an idea for a recipe. Whilst we're in this area, should we go and find see if there's another ingredient around that I can combine with this to make another another recipe or whatever. That kind of thing. You're not missing anything from the main campaign, though. Like, those are still nicely packed in chunks of plot per chapter. The game is still set up in chapters. It does just feel like Final Fantasy 15 with less free roaming. It would be Final Fantasy 15 if it was, you go here, you go there, you go there, you go there, you go there. You've done these bits, now you're done. Move on to the next bit, boss fight. Chapter complete. Unlike full version 15, you go here, oh hey, what's over there? Finish off a load of side quests. Now you've got loads of money, come over here. Do I want to do the next quest yet, or the next main story quest? No, because there's loads of stuff over there to go and explore and vistas to go check out. It is this literally Final Fantasy 15 concentrate. They've just taken out a lot of the free roam stuff. It's still very neat. There's still scenes where the characters drive from place to place, except now you don't drive the car. There's not as many of them. It will just literally go, instead of seeing the characters drive from town A to town B and have a lot of dialogue, it will say, no, we'll just teleport there. Well, this must be the place. And, you'll see them get into the car, and then the next thing you know, it'll fade to black, do the, the classic console loading thing. Then they get out of the car and say, oh, hey, we're here. This must be the place. Then you do the quest. Some of the quests from 15 have been turned into like little mini games, for example, where you would just like normally walk your character around and sneak. Now you like have to press buttons in time with certain things or whatever. It's cool. It's fun. The idea is that you can literally carry Final Fantasy 15 story in your pocket, and now you can play it on Switch or whatever. I don't know why you'd buy it on, say, a PlayStation 4 or something, or a PC if you've already got the full game, but it's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah.
I suppose if you want if you don't own the full game but want sort of Final Fantasy experience, but like an abridged version,
yeah,
it's sort of like that, I suppose, in a way.
It's neat. It is really quite neat, and to see it in that style, it just comes across as like a Final Fantasy 7 or Final Fantasy 9 style game. but with Final Fantasy 15's story.
I'd be quite up for that, particularly in RPGs, because a big 300-hour RPG sounds wonderful.
Mm-hmm. But once you get into it, it can get to be a bit of a...
And once you get to it, once life gets in the way, that could potentially take you years.
yeah, for sure.
So it's the idea of like, okay, if well, that's not a great example. But I was going to say, okay, we've got a version of Skyrim that's like the abridged version, so a lot of quests have been sort of cut down or they've been shortened.
Yeah.
You can now complete Skyrim in 50 hours instead of 300 hours.
Yeah.
I'd be actually quite tempted by that.
Yep.
If you know all the main story bits are there, I'd be quite tempted to sort of be able to go and complete it, get the full get the experience, but not have to.
And it's very pick up and play because it's got autosave. So once you once you jump into combat and you win, bam, autosave. So then you could just literally stop the game if you want, put it in your pocket, or close down your console or your Switch, and then move on. And then now I've got 15 minutes spare. I'll load up the game and we'll move forwards a little bit. It kind of plays well to that kind of play style, if you get what I mean. If that you only have 15 minutes here and there, it's been pieced together in a way that you could just sit down and play it, for 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, jump in, jump out.
Which makes sense for a mobile game.
Yeah, and it's quite neat. Well, I mean, because you wouldn't think that a big RPG would work well for that kind of thing, but it's fine the way they've laid it out. I will say I am glad that they have the autosave feature in there, because there was one point where my character bugged, the main character bugged, and I couldn't hit anything. I would constantly miss. The character would just spaz out, flail his sword around like a madman, and it would just clip clean through the enemies. But then there was one enemy that we couldn't hit either, so my team then wiped out every other enemy, but we couldn't kill that one thing, and I couldn't hit it either, but it could hit me, so I ended up having to load out the game and load back in. Thankfully, it had saved just before I got to that fight. Yeah. But I was like, oh my god, why can't we win? Why can't we win? And I'm dodging around like a madman. And I will say, it's condensed the skill system, the magic system, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and it works really well, because there are some things in Final Fantasy 15, the main game, you just don't use them. Yeah. So to see a kind of, concentrated version of some of those systems is really good. I enjoy it. It's well worth the time, well worth the cash. And I'm probably going to actually play through the game completely in the demake, and then maybe go back to the full game again, because I really enjoy that world and the story. The music's there. I will say that sometimes though the dialogue's a bit because you don't get the characters' emotions, because they are just little kind of like doll characters.
Yeah.
Whereas the voice acting's pretty good. We do get spoilt these days by picking up on that emotion from really decent facial animation now and stuff like that. But still, very fun game. That's probably my one complaint about it though.
Fair enough. Well, that is actually it for me.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not done. I did technically watch a film last week.
Right.
Well, technically, is the one I did watch a film last week, but it's an old one.
Right.
I fancy just be watching XYZ.
Yeah.
I asked a sister, I said, I just fancy while you're watching The Matrix. I ain't seen that in years.
Oh, random. We were thinking about that actually the other day.
So I watched The Matrix, and it is so weird. When you go back to see a film that was at the time very defining, because it was, and some incredible special effects, which still look very good. But then, so that cause when something was defined and something was popular, when it gets parody to mad.
Yeah.
So let's face it, Matrix. Within about 3 years of Matrix coming out, every game had bullet time in it.
Yes.
Because that's how it's implemented. Every game. I mean, Max Payne's probably the go-to example. But everyone had bullet time and so forth, and or really parody the Matrix in like films. And it's about when you watch Lord of the Rings, it's like it feels a bit weird, because it's like everybody's parodied this, everybody's copied this, but it's because everybody did. It's weird going back to the Matrix. I mean, it's still got some. I mean, it's funny going back with new eyes or more logical eyes. It's like, why would you leave the Matrix? Why would you? Mm-hmm. Because life outside Matrix is absolutely fucking shit. Yep. Inside, you live in what looks like a nice place. You get to eat sort of food that tastes nice, and at the end of it, you to I don't say a battery, but to a batteries, I've got my warning as well. Your battery's like, why would you actually leave? I said they don't portray the outside. The outside world is a dive.
Yeah.
So like, why would you ever leave? Why? Why would you do it? It's like you wouldn't.
No.
So
Bit of a derpy thing there.
Yeah.
The world is too far gone for you to realistically do anything with it. So just stick to it's fine for the machines. It's not for us.
yeah, it is. And well, the whole storyline between why the machines use us is ridiculous anyway. Because they had to change it. It was originally meant to be that humans are going to be used as processors.
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea. Humans like going to be used as sort of a processing plant for machines.
Mm-hmm.
And the producers thought that's too complicated. People won't understand that.
So yeah.
So
we can understand batteries though.
And no one said, but it doesn't make sense because human beings aren't a net producer of energy. They are an energy that we take energy in and use it up and produce waste.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This doesn't make sense, guys. I mean, why would they use humans?
Yeah, bad move there. Bad move.
The amount of energy they must be using to keep these people alive. I think if they took the people and just plugged that straight into their main grid, they would be a lot better off.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, apparently apparently though process. I mean, basically, it's not exactly a simple film anyway.
No.
So it's but that process is a bit too far. That'll confuse people.
I will say I did enjoy some of the tie-ins with some of the games that they had, but all in I didn't like the Matrix that much.
First one was the only good one.
First one was okay, but I'll be honest with you, I still preferred, and I'm going to say it now, for just having a laugh. Scooby-Doo the movie came out at the same time. I would rather watch Scooby fucking Doo than the Matrix these days.
Fair enough.
I am not kidding. People said, you really fucking comparing Scooby-Doo and the Matrix? Yeah, mate. Matrix sucks balls. I want to have a laugh when I'm watching a film. This isn't funny.
Yeah, I'm not bothered about having a laugh on a film.
No, see, the trouble is, you could see it was going to be one of those ones that they milked the fuck out of. Same with Pirates of the Caribbean. When I originally watched Pirates of the Caribbean, I was like, that's all right, but you guys are banging on about it so much.
I just don't watch the other ones.
Yeah, that's
it's like we were just looking Die Hard earlier. I just watch Die Hard 1. I don't watch the other ones.
Which, by the way, good old Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah. Not the best picture of Alan Rickman in the world, if I'm honest.
Oh no, there you go. It's not supposed to be.
No. Yeah, it's close up to Alan Rickman that is recognisable, but not so close that we get done for.
Yeah, that's basically the groove, isn't it?
Yeah. We can't be done for by Fox or whoever produced
it. For the audio geezers, it's a Hans Gruber shirt.
Yeah, it's Hans Gruber. It's Nakatomi Plaza in the background of Hans Gruber with a pistol, but it's like Alan Rickman's brother rather than Alan Rickman on it. I can't describe it. It's like it's him. You can sort of think that looks like Alan Rickman, but it's not. But it's just enough to get way past the copyright lawyers.
Good times.
Yeah. But yeah, mate. Yeah, it's. I said for its time, it's spectacular. I mean, the shots, some of the shots in it are still amazing, and sort of the special effects. Bear in mind, they were talking like late '90s here, late 1980s, 2000s.
Yeah, it was early 2000, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, late 90s. It's something around that time. The special effects are still really incredible for what they are. They still look really good. So in that, it's. I mean, there's still films out there that look as good as it.
No, for sure.
So it was a fun.
It was an alright throwback.
It's a fun film, but it's definitely one that you don't think about it too much. Make sure you have a few cans of beer and just don't think about it too much. just enjoy watching Keanu Reeves walk up walls. And
punch up guys in suits.
Beat the elf guy from Lord of the Rings. Because that's what I feel whenever I feel. Oh, it's Elrond.
There you go.
So, but yeah, that's it. So I've got 6% of battery left,
and I'm nearly dead.
So we better finish this up before we fully die. Because otherwise we'll crop the recording. So thank you much for watching. Up in the SuffolkRam.
Skazz.
We'll see you in a fortnight's time for episode 132. That'll be the 1st of Feb.
I ain't got a clue.
Well,
no. You do numbers.
28 phase has September, April, June, and November. So January, 1st of Feb, 9:30 GMT UTC. I don't know what that is in Unix time. I haven't worked it out, but I will do it from now on.
However many seconds from 1970.
Yeah, I'll start working things out in Unix. So I just quickly do it now, just so we know.
Quickly.
No, let's not risk it. I've got 9 minutes.
Oh, go on then.
Right,
He's got 9 minutes. What's 9 minutes in Unix time?
Unix enter. This is going to work. Unix times that. Come on. Enter year, date, and a time. You want what more do you want? 2001. No, 02, Nicholas. 02.
Oh God.
02.
We've got 9 minutes.
01. 21. 30. 0. Convert. The Unix time is, let me count the zeros in here.
Oh God, here we go.
1,518,592,600.
There you go.
That's Unix time for you.
Wait, is that when we're going? What's it called? Or is that now?
That's for next time.
Oh God.
Well, I couldn't do now because it'd be changing every second. By the time I finish reading the number, I'd start
you've
again.
already missed it.
So very much watching. We'll see you in a fortnight.
Winner.
Bye.
YouTube, Twitch, and the rest of it.
Oh yeah, YouTube, Twitch, and all that malarkey. Look on the website randnerds.com and
Like
all the
and
details.
subscribe.
Hit that like button, and
Oh,
subscribe, and
fuck,
make sure you see that hit push the notification bell.
Oh, I want to vomit now. I can't believe we just said that. Leave. Big
But
God.
first, this week we're sponsored by Skillshare.
See you later, guys.
See you later. Bye.